Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, today we want to have a look at Plasma 6.6, which came out last month, and I haven't had a chance to look at it quite yet. We're looking at this on real hardware installed onto my external drive used for testing on the MSI laptop with the 12th generation Intel i7. So you can see all that information there. Now, the first thing I want to mention is we seem to be having either an issue with Linux portability, or they didn't do as good a job as putting this thing together as I was hoping. So far, all of the major features I wanted to show you, I've had to have manual intervention on all of the major features. I don't know, like I said, is this how I'm installing it, or is there something else going on here? So for clarity, I actually install these using my main desktop computer because that has an IC dock, so I can disable all other drives, pop in the installation media, get everything configured. That computer, though, has no built-in Wi-Fi, no built-in cameras, no built-in microphones, no touchscreen. And so a lot of the selling points seemed to not work, including the OCR, which is really hilarious to me. That the actual distro for testing ground for Plasma, which is Neon, which is what this is, doesn't actually include all of the dependencies needed to promote the things that they gave us. So while there are really cool features in here, my Lord Plasma, can you enable them by default? I mean, really. And I say that harshly because, frankly, I've been working with this distro way longer than I give distros a chance before I abandon all hope, all ye who enter here. So let's go ahead and walk through this because I do like what they're doing. I just think they kind of went about it in some really stupid ways. So let's go ahead and walk through what we are doing here. So we start out with Plasma 6.6, and they give us three of the primary features that we wanted to use. The first is the on-screen keyboard. This still does not work on my system as much as I've tried to do intervention. Again, did this not install and configure because I set this up without a computer with a touchscreen? I mean, in theory, the touchscreen should enable itself, the virtual keyboard should be able to be pulled up in the event your main keyboard goes bad or something. But you can see down here that I actually have the input method virtual keyboard is unavailable. Now, I had to actually install the Plasma virtual keyboard package. This wasn't even showing up at all. So if you go into your systems and under your keyboard, you have your main keyboard. This is the main keyboard I have in the system. And then this is the on-screen. I didn't even have this option for on-screen until I manually configured it. I set American English, and I have not found any way to even turn this thing on manually. So I can't show you this. Now, I will tell you that I have a friend with a touchscreen computer that ended up going with Fedora because 6.6 was not released at the time he set that up. He said that he did get a chance to look at 6.6 on a computer with a touchscreen, and the keyboard was really good. So if you can get it on your system, I hear it's amazing. I have failed to get it on my system. The next is a really cool feature, the Spectacle text recognition. So Spectacle is the built-in screen capture utility, which is a really nice utility. You have a lot of various options over there. And so let's go ahead and say we're going to select something. I kind of wanted to select more than that. Let's go ahead and cancel this. I'm going to move my thing down here, and we move my thing down to here. There we are. Now we'll pull up Spectacle. And when you go into Spectacle, you will now have an option to extract text. So text extraction is completed. In theory, this is what it extracted. Let's go ahead and pull up Kate, and let's see how this works. Let's go new file, and we will paste in. So here is the text as it pasted in. There we are. So new features, those who like tailoring, the look and feel of the environment, can now turn to their current setup. So this actually does a really good job of OCR recognition. One problem, it is again not enabled by default. You actually have to configure this. You have to go in, you have to set up a language package, and that is actually not mentioned here or anywhere else. It just says, hey, you go and do this and you're going to have that option. But I looked at that and it wasn't there. Well, what you ended up having to do is you need to install the Tesseract OCR English, or Tessiact OCR, whatever your package is. Now, all the documentation I found said that you install the Tesseract application. And the problem is that the specific Tesseract application itself is what it was basically saying to install, and that doesn't exist. Hey, there's a Snap version. I installed the Snap version for testing. The Snap version, because, Snap is Snap, it installs from this Chinese resource in the proprietary system. And by the way, this still did not enable you to set it up. So I did consequently remove this, and I went to set up just that one application, which was the OCR English, and that actually set up what I needed, which is like Tesseract. Let me see what that says there. So it needs to do I cannot remember exactly which the other application is. This comes with another Tesseract. It's like Tesseract 5 or Tesseract QT or something. I forget exactly what the other package is. You install the first one, it installs both of them, and even then you still have to go in and configure your spectacle to run. And so what was kind of annoying to me is I was hoping to just see this extract text. You have to get that set up, come down to configure, and then down here you'll have the option to set this up. Now, prior to this being installed, that package would it would just give you a little informational thing, and you'd have to hover over it and see what the package is to install. So it does finally work. Maybe they did that just because not everybody uses English, but hey, maybe you can set up an installer that will detect your language and install the proper one, especially for something that you are featuring as being a function. Now, Plasma set up the user account after the operating system has been installed. I did not use that particular option. The other features that they give us is saving the current theme. So any of times you make adjustments, you can save that particular theme so you can go back to it. That's a nice feature that is good to have put in. And they kind of walk through the color, the accent colors, which is not new to this version. And here they've added the skin tone selector to the emoji selector. I didn't even look at this. I'm a boomer. I don't touch emojis. Blech, what is that? All right, let's go ahead and have a look at that. So here's your emoji. So if I have to install some other package to get these skin tones to work, I might actually flip my lid. There you go. Look at that. So you can go with your preferred skin tones there. Well, in theory. Hello. Okay. Well, maybe. I have no idea. Is there a writer? No, there's not anything there. Let's see if there's anything I can paste that thing into. Just have a brief look. Let's see. Well, apparently the skin tone selectors aren't working. Okay, I selected my dark skin tones, and it's still copying and pasting the pasty white dude or yellow dude, whatever it happens to be. So, okay, well, I don't know. Again, that's one I haven't explored yet, but that's apparently not working for me either. The next one I was actually quite excited about is making some changes to Wi-Fi. So let's go ahead and disconnect from the system. And again, there is a QR code option down here that allows you to connect. Again, this was not functional. I can't even remember what package I had to install for this. I was able to find it pretty quickly, but this allows you to scan something. So on my graphene phone here, let me go ahead and pull up the wireless. And so even here on graphene, I can go into my network details, scan the QR code. I have to enter my passkey, of course. And then once I have that, I can go ahead and scan my system and I can connect. So that is actually a nice new feature that you can, even on a high secure system like graphene, I can go ahead and do that. You'll see that reconnected it to the, internet surveillance van, and I can actually come over here and share the internet here as well. So you can actually use that to access the ability to share your Wi-Fi across different devices, different services inside of your system. So those are all new features they built in. But once again, that did not work for me by default. Now, is that because I set this up on a computer without a camera and without a Wi-Fi card, or is that something else? I don't know. This one here, hover the pointer over an app's icon playing sound in the task manager and scroll to adjust its volume. I didn't have a means to test that, but there is one where I can I can actually look at, hit the Alt key and double click on a file or folder on desktop to bring up its options. So that's actually pretty nice if you just need the file options. You see I just pulled up the properties for the screenshot that I had sitting on the desktop. So there are actually some really nice features inside of Plasma 6.6 once I got everything configured. The problem I had is that things just wouldn't configure themselves by default out of the box. I don't know if that's the particular system I installed on and then moving it over to this system or what the deal was, but I was having a little bit of frustration. So here's actually the brightness screen. You'll see that this is actually functioning properly, which is good. Let me move that back down to what it was. There you go. So you can see the brightness screen. I don't know if the recorder picked up on that, but that actually did function pretty well. Now, as far as other features inside of this, they did make the changes with the update system that the updates will pretend that they're Windows now. And so it will download everything and then upgrade them when you reboot your system next. You can actually make the changes to that if you go down and configure your updates by hitting your bar there. Here is you can install them immediately. This is how Linux is typically done. And then you can do software automatically or manually, and then you can look at what the frequency is. So they do give us all of the tools that we need in order to do software updates. I don't like the default of after rebooting, but overall, I like the fact that I can change that. So that's actually a really good feature. So as far as using the system itself, I've been playing around with this again for a few days now, trying to get everything to work. And I've had, other than the fact that half of the new features I kind of wanted to show you didn't work out of the box, which is kind of annoying. Once I did get those rectified, the system does run very smoothly. You'll see that Flatpak is enabled by default. Snaps are available in the system, but they're not available through Discover. If I wanted that available through Discover, I could turn that box on. And everything else, of course, Discover is how Discover has always been. As far as the window compositor, it defaults to running Wayland, but it does still give us the X11 option. And I am logged in this under X because I wanted to use Simple Screen Recorder to record this video, which is working very well. I did not have any other problems on Wayland. I just knew I could not do a good, easy screen sharing application on Wayland. And so I switched over to that X just to go ahead and give that a try. So there is our brief look here at Plasma 6.6. All I got to say is, if you're going to feature all of these options, make sure they work. Okay, I get if I install this without a touchscreen, you may not install the virtual keyboard, but you might think about doing that as an option, because I actually ran into a case where I was trying to get this guy working and I ended up accidentally somehow disabling my main keyboard. Neither the keyboard in the laptop or the external keyboard I'm using functioned at all. I ended up fixing that by going into the settings and toggling around all the accessibility options on sticky keys and things, and somehow that brought my keyboard back. But I cannot access the virtual keyboard that I wanted to show you. I could not access the Wi-Fi connections that I wanted to show you. I could not access the default OCR options inside of Spectacle like they featured. None of those worked without manual intervention. So I don't know what is going on over there at Plasma. I really wanted to just be like, wow, this is an amazing system. But man, I had some problems. Now, once I read through enough documentation and found enough solutions online, I was able to get things functioning and working again. But the point is that if you're going to come out and say, here's a brand new feature and we're doing all these things, I should not have to be doing so much manual intervention to get the brand new features actually working and functioning on this system. And yes, I did download the version that I'm using after those release notes, and which was still on 6.6.0, and I subsequently updated to 6.6.2. So there is a little bit of work here. Overall, it is very solid. Plasma is still one of my favorite desktop environments. I still prefer Cinnamon a little bit better, but if I want something good and modern and Cinnamon is not an option, Plasma is always my backup. I like the way it looks, I like the way it functions, I like the way it's configurable, and they overall have done a really good job with it. So here's actually online accounts. I didn't even look at that. Let's see what we can add under online accounts. So here's open desktop, own cloud, Nextcloud, or Google are our online account options by default out of the box here. So, okay, there is our look. Let me know your thoughts about Plasma 6.6, and also let me know, did you install this and did you have as many problems as I did? Let me know about that in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.